Hey, what is going on, guys? It is your boy Omega BlankPage coming at you with another video, and what you guys are going to be watching today is just my Burning the Best deck profile. So hopefully you guys do enjoy. I find that this deck is both fun, consistent, and competitive, so hopefully you guys will think so as well after you guys are done watching this video and using this deck. It's really fun. I love Burning Abyss. I used to hate it, but it's a pretty fun deck, and hopefully you guys will think so as well. So we're just going to jump right into the deck profile itself, to where I just name off every card in the deck, and then afterwards I'm just going to give some tips and tricks, some combos of how this deck works, and some good plays that this deck can make. So starting off, I'm running 3 Sur, 3 Graph, 3 Skarm, 3 Rubik, 2 Calcab, 2 Alich, 2 Farfa, 3 Tour Guide, 3 Maxi, 1 Blackluster Soldier in Void of the Beginning, 3 MST, 2 Enemy Controller, 3 The Beginning of the End, 2 Rank Up Magic Astral Force, 1 Allure of the Darkness, 1 Foolish Burial, 1 Raigeki, and 2 Mass Change Second. Jumping into this extra deck, I am running 3 Dante, 2 Constellator Pleiades, 2 Downward Magician, 1 M7, 1 Acid Golem, 1 number 20 Giga Brilliant, 1 Nightmare Shark, 2 Virgil, and 2 Masked Hero Dark Law. Jumping into the side deck, I am running 1 Typhoon. You can run multiples of this card. I'm not just saying you have to run 1. You can run 1 to 3, or you guys can just put this into the main deck if you want as well. So just go right ahead if you want to do that. I also think the Fusion is a pretty good card. Vanity's Fiend is a pretty good card. The Fusion is really good just because of fusion decks like Elemental Hero. Vanity's Fiend is a good card just because it makes it to where neither player can special summon, so any deck that runs solely off of like special summoning monsters will put a stop to it. Dankoseka is also a good card just because it can stop back row pretty easily, and in combination with Vanity's Fiend, Dankoseka and Vanity's Fiend can be a pretty sick combo, and it can make it to where your opponent can really only normal summon and not really do much else. So then you can just go right off and obliterate him. Another good card is Fire Lake of the Burning Abyss. It's a Burning Abyss deck. Fire Lake is pretty common, so if you guys want to use it, you guys can do just that. It could work with this deck totally. So if you guys just want to take out a card and put it in, or if you guys just want to keep it in the side deck, you can do that as well. So now I'm just going to jump right into the tips and tricks and combos of this deck. So starting off, obviously we have Blackluster Soldier. This card is good for any, light and dark deck. So basically Burning Abyss, Shadal, Light Sworns, and any other light and dark deck out there. So Blackluster Soldier is just a really good card. So Blackluster Soldier is usually only good with, it's best with at least Burning Abyss and Light Sworns. You just want to send one of your dark monsters and one of your light monsters, aka Virgil or some of these XC monsters here, to the graveyard, and then bam, you can just get out a Blackluster Soldier. And Blackluster Soldier's effects is basically you can banish one face-up monster, and then you can also, if you want, you can attack twice with this card. So it's a pretty okay card, if I do say so myself. The main engine of this deck is definitely Tour Guide, Dante, and Maxi, and Skarm can help with that as well sometimes, and so can Graph. Not so much Sur, just because Sur can only target Burning Abyss monsters in your graveyard, whereas Graph can search Burning Abyss monsters in your deck, and Skarm can search any level 3 Dark Fiend type monster in your deck, and Tour Guide can also just target one level 3 Fiend type monster and put it on the field. Whereas Dante, you can just send cards from your deck to the graveyard to increase his attack. So, and basically all these Burning Abyss monsters have effects that activate in the graveyard. So, those are pretty much your main engines. So Dante, Tour Guide, Skarm, and Graph. That's basically your main engine. Oh, and Maxi. Maxi Just makes it to where each time your opponent special summons a monster, you can draw one card. So, you can pretty much draw for days if your opponent just continuously, special summons. So make sure that you don't have Vanity's Fiend and Maxi out there at the same time, or else, that combo won't really work out too well. A card that a lot of you might be questioning is the Beginning of the End. Beginning of the End's effect reads: activate only if there are 7 or more dark monsters in your graveyard. Remove from play 6 or 5 dark monsters from your graveyard to draw 3 cards. So getting 7 or more dark monsters from your deck or your hand to the graveyard is pretty simple with a Burning Abyss deck. I suggest running this card in like an Inferno deck or a Shadal deck or in a Burning Abyss deck. It just makes it to where you have more draw power. So it's a very, very good card, I think. So that's why I'm using it. You can run this at 1 or 2 or 3. Running at 3 just makes it to where it's more consistent. 2 is pretty okay. And 1, I don't think it's usually enough. But if you guys want to run this at 1, 2, or 3, I think it would be good. But I'm running at 3 just for more consistency with it. Another good card is Mass Chain II. This card is just good just because of the sole fact of getting out Dark Law. Dark Law is just good if you go up against a mirror match, against like Burning Abyss, or if you go up against Infernoids, is also pretty good. Or if you go up against Shadals or Light Sworns, this can be a pretty big deck or a big card. So that is why I'm using Dark Law just for mirror matches. It has a pretty good effect, second effect at least, to where if your opponent draws a card except during the draw phase, you can banish 1 random card from your opponent's hand. So that's a pretty good secondary effect, if I do say so myself. So it's a pretty good card. I like using it. I like using Mass Chain II. I suggest putting this in any decks that you can. I mean, Mass Heroes they're pretty good. They're pretty good cards, so I suggest using them if you can. Some good combos is the obvious plays. Just don't set down any spell trap cards if you have some Burning Abyss cards in your hand. Activate their effects where you can special summon them, and then you can just go right into Dante. Then you can activate Dante's effect, send some cards to the graveyard, then attack straight forward, and then in your phase, and then whatever cards you send to the graveyard, if they have effects that activate in the graveyard, activate them, and add more cards to your hand, or special summon more monsters, and etc. So it's pretty good. Astral Force is a good card just for the sole reason of getting out M7 or some of these other XC material monsters. So I think that was a pretty good card to add to the deck. Foolish Burial, just in case you don't have any Burning Abyss cards in your hand, or if you need to make a certain play, you can definitely just send 1 card that you need to the graveyard, and then you can just go off from whatever play you were trying to make. And of course, MST just gets rid of your opponent's back row. It's pretty standard. And yeah, that's basically it. Rubik mixed together with another level 3 monster can get out Virgil, and Virgil's effects are pretty self-explanatory. And yeah, that's basically all you really need to know is a search engine, some of the plays that you'll most likely be playing. You'll most likely be just making Dante, or you'll most likely be making M7 or Virgil or Dark Law, and some of these other cards that you'll most likely be playing just for certain situations, like let's say Acid Golem. He's just he's a tank monster. If you need to get rid of something out on the field, or you just need to do some heavy damage, he does have 3,000 attacks, so he's a pretty big tank to get over. So he's just a really good card. I wouldn't judge you if you put him at 2 or 3 in the side deck or in the extra deck. So he's a pretty good card. A lot of these can be just sort of in the moment kind of cards, but you'll most likely be playing Dante, Master of Dark Law, or Virgil of any of the extra deck cards. But that's basically it for this deck profile, guys. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or any deck requests that you guys want to give me, just comment down below. I take all and every deck request out there. And if you guys haven't already, subscribe for more Yu-Gi-Oh content. I upload every weekend, and I only upload deck profiles and other Yu-Gi-Oh content, mostly deck profiles. I probably won't do other Yu-Gi-Oh content, but hope you guys did enjoy. If you guys did, just stick around, and I'll give you guys more Yu-Gi-Oh content. Peace out. Thank you guys for watching. Adios.